So, good evening all. My name is Ken Aitken, and this summer I decided I would become a reverse busker. I'm going to tell you what that means and where it came from and what happened. The gist is that we set up shop in parks and public spaces around Ottawa with this sign or this early draft: free guitar in exchange for songs. And so we sat there with an open guitar case and tried to convince passerbys to play for us. And the idea came about because I really love raw acoustic music, and there's one project in particular that really blew my mind. It was called the Acoustic Guitar Project. And what they did is they handed people a recorder and a guitar for a week and said, you have a week to write and record a song and then hand the rig off to someone else. And one of them was this lady, Jean Rowe, who wrote about the Citizens Musical Underground in New York, the amazing musicians that you'd never hear of. And that resonated with me because I spent a lot of time at a place like this all of a sudden. And Irene's every Saturday hosts an amazing open mic with amazing musicians. And it was the music scene in Ottawa that I've been looking for that I didn't know existed for the few years I lived here. But there's a problem with open mics. They're still pretty daunting, which is what Eric told CBC after he played for us. In my mind, it's having to say to a room of people, hey, you should all listen to me for 15 minutes. So we try to think of ways to capture music, but to kind of lower the barrier to entry somewhat. So we used venues like these. It was my front porch during the Great League Garage Sale, Majors Hill Park, Brewers Park Farmers Market, and Spark Street. And we did one other thing to kind of change the dynamic based on some of the theory I had. I wanted to raffle off a guitar to anyone that played for us, and I stress raffle, not contest. And I thought it would give some people an excuse to play and some people justification. And you could just say, why not, free guitar. And I think we learned that not many people actually needed that, and we learned a few other things as well. One, music is for everybody. We had retirees and we had 11-year-olds, we had beginners and we had gigging musicians like Tarek. And for music styles, we had everything under the sun, and it seems like everyone had a blast. The second thing we learned is that people have hidden talents. These are my downstairs neighbors, and we'd never seen them play guitar, and then we noticed that they were selling one at the garage sale. But this happened all the time, like very unexpected and sometimes very surprising people would blow us away with the talents that they pulled out on the cuff. The third thing is that instruments are unnecessary. He couldn't play guitar, but he sang We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together by Taylor Swift to a girl on their first date. And she hadn't played in 10 years, so she sang Janis Joplin and used the guitar as a drum. And lastly, Ottawa is not the city that fun forgot. It didn't seem like people had shells to come out of. I figure probably almost half of the people that we asked randomly could play, and probably a quarter to a third of them actually did on camera for huge crowds sometimes. Even in the business district at downtown at lunch. And I was really worried about this one, but people played. Construction workers, bureaucrats, everything. So that's how it went, and this is how it sounded and felt.
Don't think I would bear to watch you leave my whole lives. You're on for my protection.
Oh, no. Oh, the minarets of Constantinople are. Oh, where we have to go with
Incidentally, the last two are some of my favorites, just for how much personality comes out. This is Nassim, the 11-year-old from earlier, and next up is Henry, a IT consultant for government. And it was Henry's name that we drew in the end. He used to play drums, but he didn't have a guitar, and he seemed really excited about it, so I'm happy to call that a good home for it. And that's the way we wrapped up the summer. But there's one other lesson I learned that I want to share with you, and that is, we all need roadies. For Gray, it was his 2 kids. For me, it was many, many friends and partners that made this happen. So That's it. There's about 60 some videos. If you want to check them out, musicalundergroundottawa.com. If you want to see what happens next year, at MUO. Thank you very much.